Hello, hello, welcome to the video. This is my half-assed attempt to show that gyro isn't necessarily a gimmick, and that more gamers should give it a shot. Now, I do understand this is a first-person single-player shooter. Single-player shooters are not necessarily the best case to showcase the accuracy, quote-unquote, of gyro. As you'll see, I'm not exactly the best. I'm fairly trash at aiming, but there's a few clips in here that, controller cannot do, like, just in general. Um, and that's more or less what I'm trying to showcase here, that, you know, gyro is not a gimmick. It is damn near as good as a mouse. And with that being said, like, I would like to see more competitive players trying it out, especially us controller players. Me personally, I don't like gaming with a mouse and keyboard. I work with a mouse and keyboard, so gaming with that, it feels like work. Don't want to game and have it feel like work. It's not fun that way. However, playing games with gyro, um, it adds a lot more than what you would expect a game to have. Like, it feels like playing a Wii, but with a far more comfortable controller, especially if you're using a PlayStation controller. Uh, and bringing up PlayStation, for the last, what, 2 generations now, we've had the DualSense Edge, the DualShock 5, and the DualShock 4, if I'm not wrong. I'm pretty sure I got a couple of those wrong. Either way, those controllers all have had gyroscopes inside of them. I remember watching the PS4 get announced and how Sony was, oh, our controller has gyros in them, and like not a single game used the gyros. We have less than 100 games that actually use the gyros, and of those 100 games, maybe 10 are shooters. Call of Duty, Fortnite, Battlefield, and the finals are the only 4 that come to mind that are games that I actually play. PlayStation having Doom being released on it, original Doom back from the 90s, that has gyro support, but modern Doom does not, which is kind of weird to me. Uh, we have Doom Eternal here, which is as much a vertical game as it is horizontal. Like, you have all these jump pads, and as you see in this first section here, you have 2 separate layers that you jump between, and one of them involves the jump pad. And so being stuck with only stick input, it leaves you very limited as far as what you can do. You can't do some of these rapid movements that you're seeing here. Gyros allow for a lot of mouse-like movements, a lot of flicking, a lot of snapping, things that controller just cannot do in general. And there are a couple of drawbacks, as you see. My cat leaving, my aim does start to jump around quite a bit. Outside forces affecting the controller obviously affect your, so there's that to take into consideration when trying out gyro. Make sure that you don't have a pushy ass fat cat like I do, trying to get in the way of all the games, all the things. He very much distracted me for the pause menu. See here on the Spidertron thing, some of the potential as far as like tracking goes with gyro. Not very many shots there were missed on his little gun turret, stinger, whatever you want to call that thing. If you've made it this far, leave a like, leave a comment, do all the things. Help me know that this thing's kind of real, that people actually agree that gyro's not just a gimmick. For those of you paying very close attention to the weapon wheel and the controller there in the little box, it's kind of disappointing to see as well. PlayStation dropped this ball as well. The touchpad is such a unique and cool thing for gaming. The potential it has is limitless, really, especially when you take into account Steam Input. Steam Input allows for some wild things to be done in games. I want to say it was Apex Legends on PC. This guy called it tap strafing. Ignore this death. This is embarrassing. Ugh, this is bad. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Gross. Anyways, um, they called it tap strafing, and essentially you see my finger there swiping, going through the weapon wheel, selecting weapons. What this guy did is he used it as a way to build up step charges, I think they called it, and it allowed for some very advanced movement. Now I'm only using it for like simple weapon wheel switching. It's Doom Eternal, you have a double jump and a dash. You don't have very much as far as like advanced movement goes. You don't have jetpacks like Advanced Warfare or anything like that, where you could set up something like that. But again, the touchpad has such a insane untapped potential that PlayStation, I feel, really dropped the ball, and to really unlock its full potential, you really have to take it over to Steam. Truly. Now I'm gonna let the gameplay play out. There's a few good shots here coming up. Some not so much. I'll just let it play out. Here's another piece that controller couldn't do as well. Not as easily, at least. But I'll let this play out. I'll let my rant continue on here in the next couple minutes. Yes, I'm very well aware. I just looked at the map and just saw the waypoint. Here, for me, is where gyro is really going to start to shine within this gameplay, assuming that you've made it this far into the video. Uh, Sniping shots, shotgun shots tend to be really good, but mostly in snipers, you really feel some of the accuracy. I did struggle there quite a bit. A lot of these upcoming eye towers, you really do feel, especially this fight here, just the sheer accuracy that gyro can offer, especially once you get these silent settings down, everything starts to feel good. Enjoy the fight.
to stand in the Seraphim's presence.
This one's more of a personal game as far as gameplay goes. This is one of my least favorite enemies within the whole modern Doom franchise. I have no problem with the enemies as you saw earlier. I had a few close calls, but as far as like all the enemies in modern Doom, this is the fucker that gives me the most goddamn problems. I love this game, I love the series, but fuck this one boss, enemy, whatever the fuck you want to call him in particular. Fuck him in particular. This shot here kind of showcases how bad my shots can get. And I was low-key kind of taking around with these guys, just trying to see if I can blow them up with the rocket launcher, get a twofer. Very clearly I don't. These eyeballs they're not as bad as those other guys. I forget what they're called with the shield, the shotgun, the Slayer Hunters. That's what they're called. Can't stand Slayer Hunters. But then, yeah, as you see, I get tired of it. Oh, nice. There's my twofer. Now, if I remember right, this is a section back when I played this game on console that I really struggled to get because it's one that requires, mouse-like aim, with quick flicks. As you see, I hold the camera there fine. That was the flick I'm talking about. Don't know why I struggled so hard on console with it, but it's just one of those that I had problems with. That's also before I got the DualSense Edge that you see there in the camera. That's why you don't see my thumb jump into X and circle all the time I'm hitting those juicy back buttons. Now, after struggling with that jumping platform area, these shots are really about to pop off some. Uh, this is where gyro, again, really starts to shine. These single shots, high accuracy snipes. Again, gyro, it's damn near as good as a mouse. It has a few drawbacks, but for those of us that don't want to use a clunky keyboard or want to feel like they're working when you're trying to relax and like unwind and play some games, like, this is the way to do it. Gyro. It's not perfect, but with the proper support and, you know, us showing developers that we want more aiming options, not just mouse and keyboard or controller. We should have more options available to us. We shouldn't need to buy gimmick controllers, especially when we've had, again, 2 generations of PlayStation with gyroscopes built into the controllers. But yet Nintendo's the only actually multi-generational console to enforce gyros. So that's just my personal gripe with PlayStation. They tote this amazing controller, and it really is an amazing controller. It's phenomenal what it can do. But their own personal support for their own hardware, it's lacking. It really is. Now, by all means, criticize my upcoming death. It's embarrassing. Again, you just get caught in the middle of all these goons and yeah, you just fail to follow one of the biggest tenets in Doom. Don't sit still. And here, I sit still, like an idiot, trying to grab the gas can, and blah 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 blah. Yeah, I wasn't too happy with that. Yeah. Look at those wiggles. But anyways, I'm gonna finish off with just more gameplay. If you've made it this far, again, like, comment, let me know this thing's real. If you really enjoyed it, give me a follow. I'd appreciate it. I'll make more videos. We'll see if we can really push these developers to truly support gyro. Like, I'm not a game developer, but I wouldn't expect it to be that much more difficult than allowing keyboard and mouse and sticks. So let me know what you think. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Doomslayer, sir. The Seraphim's key is close. I'll mark it on your HUD. Doomslayer, sir. The Seraphim's key is close. I'll mark it on your HUD.
Yes, the key to the Seraphim's chamber. Now, we work to resurrect the only ones who can save this world.